Welcome back to our series, Proving God is Real by looking at his amazing creations. So, Kim,
Yes, Tim.
what do you have for us today that is going to blow my mind? I want my mind blown.
We'll start small.
Are you saying that I'm small, or are you
No,
just going to start small?
I'm not saying you're small.
Okay.
I'm saying we're going to start small.
Okay.
Very small.
Okay.
The wood ant.
That's pretty small.
That's pretty small.
Okay.
Okay, so what's kind of fun about this little wood ant? And we're talking about a wood ant that lives in Northern Europe and Siberia, those areas. What they do is they build a ant hill out of pine needles.
Wow. Okay. Now we're talking like a little itty bitty little ant. Okay, not like this.
Okay. I mean, yeah, but so big deal, right? They build an ant hill. They all build an ant hill.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
These build an ant hill 7 feet. 7
No
feet tall.
way.
Taller than you.
Okay.
7 feet tall, and what they do because it's in Siberia.
Okay.
It's cold. Northern Europe, it's cold.
Okay, I get that.
So this little ant hill, big ant hill.
Big ant, 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
That's a big ant hill.
It's like a little heater.
Okay.
So it keeps them nice and warm inside. And in the summer, when it's hot, to cool it down, to give it a little air conditioner.
Okay.
They have little holes that cause ventilation to come through the pine needles and keeps them nice and cool in the summer.
Okay.
So the really cool thing about this is that, since this ant, the pine needles are moist, because they're pine needles.
Okay, right.
They could cause bacteria
and
fungus. So what the ants do, knowingly, is to put...
Yeah, they know this.
Yeah, they put the sap from the pine needles on their bodies.
Oh, really?
And that's how they fight bacteria and infection.
Do they really?
Yeah, how'd they know that?
Well, I'm sure they didn't go to Mr. Dr. Ant and said, hey, our colony is getting a fungus. And right. Mr. Dr. Ant said, well, I think we should put sap on our body.
Right.
Look, these creations are so amazing that, I mean, the more videos that we do of this, the less and less that I almost start to disbelieve, evolutionist. Because, I mean, you think, okay, so this ant... I mean, through years of evolution, was it a trial and error thing where they put like ginger root on of another thing and it didn't work, and they said, okay, well that doesn't work, so then they put this spring flower on of the scent and it didn't work, and then finally they figured out sap and it worked. Pretty soon you have to, like I said, you watch these videos and these amazing facts, you got to start to say there's something else going on. I mean, well, anyways, I won't go off, but yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. I like that. I had no idea.
Okay, let's go bigger.
Go big.
Oh, go.
Or go home. Okay, so what's the next one? I like that. I didn't know. I had no idea about that one. Okay.
So this is big but small. Okay, so we're going to talk about a star.
Ooh, the stars can be big.
We're going to talk about the galaxies. So we're going to go big.
I love space. I love space.
Know
it just makes me just, if you really want to see God and realize how big God is, just start to, the galaxy, if you research it, and I'm sure you're going to tell us this,
I'm going to tell you that.
It's just infinite. And I don't even understand that. My mind can't wrap around, where does it end?
Wrap around this.
I'm going to wrap around your, okay, go for it.
So they took an image.
Okay.
Well, let's back up a little bit. Back in the BCs,
before Christ?
Yeah, that's BC.
Okay.
So yeah, back before Christ, when they would look up into the stars, they could count about 6,000.
So some guy actually counted 6,000 stars.
6,000.
They must be really bored back before Christ.
I don't know.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Back there. So then let's fast forward to today. So the Hubble telescope.
I like the Hubble.
Right. They took an image
in
the sky by the Big Dipper, to be specific.
Okay.
They took this image up there to see how many stars were in that one little area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So here's how many stars they saw. So this is just
I mean,
one image.
one image
Yes.
among the.
Yes, this is
Okay.
just one image area from the
Okay.
Hubble,
Okay.
right by the Big Dipper.
Okay.
So we're real specific
Okay.
here.
Draw.
Okay, so this image that they took from the Hubble, if you took a grain of sand and held it out in front of your hand,
Okay. Okay.
that's how big of a part of the sky image would be.
Okay.
Is a grain of sand. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
In this particular grain of sand, they found over 10,000 galaxies. Okay.
I mean, seriously.
Okay, but
and no, a galaxy is like we're in a galaxy,
right?
So it's made of a bunch of the
10,000
stars,
galaxies.
sun, planets.
Right.
We're in the Milky Way.
Right.
And there's 10,000 of these Milky Ways.
I'm going to tell you. So within that galaxy, there was over 100 billion stars. Can you even imagine?
No. You hear it, but I don't think you really get it.
No.
I mean, if in a grain of sand there's that much, and then extrapolate that to the entire galaxy,
yeah.
I mean, we have no idea what's out there. And my question is, which is just fascinating, is where does it end? Does it ever end?
Does it end?
I mean, seriously, does it ever end?
Right.
And then I started thinking, well, is heaven, I mean,
beyond that,
right.
Yeah,
I mean, is it further beyond that? Is it closer? Where is it? But I mean, it's just amazing. It really is amazing.
Yeah. So they were predicting, the Hubble was predicting that there's 10 to the power of 22
22
stars.
zeros.
Yeah. I mean, it just
uncountable.
10 with 22 zeros behind it is how many stars. And probably there is more. I don't even know that they can capture it.
I don't think humans
honestly.
can figure it out. I mean, I don't think God wants us to totally figure it out. Like we always say in, Deuteronomy, I think it's 29, there's mysteries that we're just not going to fathom or understand. And that's just God. We're going to have to, it's God. One point I was thinking when we were talking about this is that evolutionists, say our galaxy was either started from a blob or, to a neutron and an atom, bang each other, and that created a chain reaction, which created a planet, and then that created a solar system, da-da-da. It's always amazing to me, and this is a problem I have with evolution too, is it just seems to, you hear about these theories, and it just seems to stop. I mean, okay, well, this is how our galaxy was created, and then it just stops.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, why does it stop? I mean, why doesn't it keep on going to where it's out of control? I mean, to me, nature is aggressive. Yeah. I mean, it is. It's just aggressive. It grows and it doesn't go, I'm done. I'm only created one galaxy, so I'm not going to create any more. To me, it's aggressive. So why doesn't our world just go blowing up with too many stars? And the movie we were watching, which is really interesting, has a good point about this, is Oppenheimer. Yeah. And this is about the Manhattan Project and how they created the atom bomb. And they said when they were trying to figure this, where a neutron would split an atom and create this chain reaction, and then this massive chain reaction of all over, they were not very sure. No, this is true. This was on the movie, so I haven't researched this. But they said that they don't know whether it would stop. Right. They don't know whether they launched this atom bomb and the neutrons crash into the atoms or what have you crashing, that it wouldn't create a chain reaction in the air and it would just never stop. Right. It would, in fact, destroy the Earth. And there was a small percentage that when they were ready to launch, it's like, well, this is what science is. It's possible. So I'm like, then I think about evolutionists, why aren't we destroyed? Why hasn't evolution destroyed us? Because it's so aggressive and it just doesn't stop. If you would like to check out more videos from this series, go ahead and click the link above. So in last week's video, we kind of gave a little taste of something we were going to talk about. Yeah. So today we're going to bring up this insane It's an animal,
It's an
right?
animal.
Okay, go for it.
You ready?
I am ready. As much
right.
as I ready could, as much as I could be ready. Okay.
This is the smallest animal that they can find.
Smallest.
Smallest.
Okay, now what's small?
A half of a millimeter. So if you hold your fingers together and like don't touch, that's about how big it is.
And it's an animal. It's classified.
It's microscopic.
It's a microscopic animal, not an amoeba, not a blob.
No, it's an animal.
Okay.
It has 8 little legs and little footsies.
Okay.
And it's called a tardigrades.
Tardigrades.
A tardigrade.
Okay.
And it's not very. It's kind of cute, but I don't know. I don't think it's that cute. Anyways, so they found this animal, and what they wanted to do is they wanted to try and use it for exploring humans going into space and how
deprivation.
They could get through space travel. So they're using this as a science experiment. Basically.
Okay. Poor little guy. He's just a science experiment. He didn't do anything wrong.
So they thought, all right, let's try and freeze the little beggar.
And you think, so small, it'd be easy.
Yeah.
You're done. Right? I mean, blow on it against the wall. It's dead.
Yeah. Well, so they took him down to below zero and warmed him back up, and he was fine. Came back to life.
So he kind of died and then came back to life.
They don't say die. They just say
he just got frozen.
Stops moving.
He got frozen. Okay.
And then they warm him back up and he comes back to life.
Okay.
It's like, okay. So then they thought, okay, well, let's boil it. Because, you can boil bacteria and kill it.
Right.
So let's boil the little guy. And they took it to like 212 degrees Fahrenheit.
Right.
Boiled him, put him into a little petri dish or whatever, and he comes back to life.
Wow.
Okay, so they're going, okay, so let's try, because of space, let's try and take some oxygen away.
Oxygen deprivation.
So he has no oxygen, and they did it for like 2 hours or something like that. And he comes back to life after they give him oxygen again. Wow. Then they even tried to smush the little fella, because they experienced that weight in space.
Yeah, right.
So they applied 1,000 pounds of pressure on him, and they said that his body just kind of absorbed it.
Wow.
And he was totally fine. So it's kind of funny to me because it's kind of like he's so small.
Yeah. You think it'd be...
Why?
Right.
Why did God make it?
Do they know what purpose he serves? Or it serves?
And they really didn't say like he had a purpose.
He just exists.
Maybe it was just God's way of giving us something to study, and try and figure out space travel.
Wow.
What do you
they
say
could
about
rule.
that?
Well, I was going to say we better be careful because they're going to rule the world because we can't kill them, right?
That's what I was thinking too. Is that there's so many of them because you can't kill them.
They take over the world.
I wonder what their lifespan is.
Well, obviously, if they found him in a tomb from 1,000 years ago, just add water and like, hey, what are you doing? Wow, that was a long sleep.
Yeah, no kidding.
I said hi to Pharaoh for you, King Tut.
I'm not sure how they're gonna utilize that information for humans.
Well, probably
for space travel,
right? Knowing scientists are probably. And this is what's the other thing we think we said this on the last video. Scientists try to, it's like they look at this amazing creation of God and they try to replicate it. Say, well, how can we take the DNA, the genes, the stem cells, whatever they want to try to do, and how can we put this into a human so a human is indestructible or maybe has some of the characteristics of this little animal? And they can't. Because you can't replicate what God created sometimes. I mean, it's just, he made it. You ain't creating it. You ain't duplicating it.
You're God.
You're not God. Sorry. I mean, like a little.
We'll call it animal, so then I don't give it away. But
okay.
And it's, everybody kind of thinks it's one thing, but it's really something else, and it's super smart and able to work as a team
with
they're
other.
smart enough to work as a team to achieve the project that they're going after.
Wow. Okay. All right.
It's really
I
interesting.
am excited for next week.
Yeah. All right. We hope you guys enjoyed this and seeing how great God is.
Yep.
He's just amazing.
Yeah, it is.
And we hope to see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.